National Development and Reform Commission, Madame Sun Meijun, Vice Minister of State Administration for Market Regulation, they will talk about issues on supporting and expanding employment through pushing forward with reforms that dedicate power improvement regulation and upgrade services, pursuing Internet Plus initiative, and encouraging mass entrepreneurship and innovation. They will take your questions. With us today, we also have Mr. Wu Hao from NDRC. First, I give the floor to Mr. Gao. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good morning. The outbreak of COVID-19 has brought some impact to the economic development as well as employment. The State Council and the CPC Central Committee has touched a great importance in this regard and made several instructions and arrangements on employment and the epidemic prevention and control work. The executive meeting of State Council emphasized again the 6 stabilities while putting the top priority to employment. It also emphasized the work on the cultivating the new engine to drive the economic development, as well as the reform and dedicate more powers and improve regulation services. The department at all levels, based on the instructions and deployment of the State Council, and focus on the coordinated development in terms of the dedicating power, improving regulation services, as well as purchasing Internet Plus, as well as encouraging mass entrepreneurship and innovation, which play a greater role in the releasing the energy of the market entities, as well as the creativity in the whole society. The impact caused by the COVID-19 also produced a new way of online administration. So the departments also opened their online, the green channels for approval, and also to channel the reasonable gathering, and also give a great support to the resumption of work and production. And we also have seen the integrated development of online and offline development, as well as the inclusive economic development. And we also have the online education, online classes, and the contactless development and delivery that are all the new forms of a business that triggered by the COVID-19. Look at the total number of the consumer goods of the retail sales has dropped. But we look at the physical goods, actually, that increased 5% in terms of its proportion. And the growth rate is 3.8% for the information technology. And because of the discounted economic initiatives, and which also give a favorable condition for the mass entrepreneurship and innovation. It also stabilized the market and expectations, also give a great support to the startups by students or migrant workers. I believe at this difficult time, all these initiatives have played an encouraging role. Going forward, the NDRC will continue to implement the arrangement made by the CPC Central Committee and State Council, while focusing more on employment. We will do a good job in implementation, while focusing on the dedicating powers, improving regulation services, as well as focusing on encouraging mass entrepreneurship and innovation, as well as Internet Plus, for all these to provide more jobs in the market and also to unleash the potential in the market. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Gao Gao. I give the floor to Madame Sun. Friends from the media, good morning. The coordinated development of epidemic prevention and control with economic and social development are the top priority on our working agenda. General Secretary Xi Jinping had made several instructions and deployment in this regard, stressing the social order matching the epidemic containment efforts, especially the focus on the employment, the improving the business environment. Premier Li Keqiang, regarding stabilizing employment as well as entrepreneurship, had made several instructions, and we should give more support to the market entities to bring the energy back to the market. SAMR has earnestly implemented the deployment made by the CPC Central Committee, focusing on the improving employment in market entities as well as resumption of work and production, giving more support to the economic and social development. We have done in the following areas. First, we intensified our efforts to solving the problems faced by the enterprises while resuming to their work. In terms of supply chain, the cash flow, as well as the employees backing to work, we have released 10 items in our initiative. Along with NDRC, we have also worked on giving more support to the enterprises in order to lower the cost, share the burden on the enterprises to mitigate the difficulties on their shoulder, especially for the SMEs and individuals, to help them back to the operation in order to create more jobs. Second, we made all the efforts on maintaining a well-managed, orderly market operation. For the illegal behavior, such as the increasing the price of the PPE, such as masks, taking the opportunities or the advantage of the epidemic. We work with law enforcement authorities to give a strong punch to all these illegal behavior, and we have released 10 groups of the illegal behaviors on our website in order to create a strong environment on the tough law enforcement. And we also focus on the regulation on food security as well as the green and non-green supply, and also look at the illegal word price bidding up behavior in order to create a safe environment for our consumers. Third, we also emphasize on the improvement of a market environment. We focus on the access to the market, to streamline the approval process for the enterprises, and also to create fresh ways to monitoring the environment in order to improve the efficiency of management. And we also utilize the Internet Plus to facilitate the operation of enterprises. So based on the dedicating power, improving regulation services, helps us to release the potential in the market and bring more vitality to the enterprises. And fifth, we also give the full play to the market main identity in order to make sure a stable supply and the price of PPE and main daily necessities, as well as boosting the confidence and decisive to win the battle against COVID-19. As AMR also initiated the 3 guarantee in terms of supply, quality, and price. We worked with all the enterprises to do a good job in these 3 areas. And we also shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand with enterprises to overcome these difficult times and made our contribution to maintain a stable price. This had a good endorsement made by enterprises. So far, we had 15,000 enterprises involved in this initiative, including the more than 300,000 retail stores, and they also made their commitment in this regard, and including the individual business owners as well as top 500, including the manufacturing, Internet Plus, the online platform, delivery, as well as food delivery service, courier service. It's covered the end-to-end supply chain. And that also help us to have an unimpeded flow of the supply chain as well as industrial chain. So this campaign of 3 stabilities and fulfill the needs of the customers as well as create the jobs and market expectations going forward. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and State Council, will fully leverage our function, do our good job in maintain a good order in the market in order to achieve the goal of the economic and social development as well as the build a well-off society this year. This is my general brief. I would like to take your question. Thank you. And now the floor is open. Please identify your media affiliation before asking questions. It's China Daily. My question goes to SAMR. Amid the epidemic, what kind of measures do you have or have you released to support the resumption of work and production to mitigate impact caused by COVID-19 outbreak? Thank you for your question. Regarding the resumption of work means stabilize employment. Resumption of the production means to stabilize economic development. Therefore, we should focus on these 2 fronts as the top priority in order to minimize impact brought by COVID-19. These 2 fronts right now are our key focus. SAMR have provided the services and also have taken more proactive services to the enterprises and the market. And we have already released 10 items in our initiatives as well as working with NDRC. We also have released a notice to better support SMRs in order to help them solve the most urgent, needed solved issues. There are a lot of content in these 2 different documents, and we have made some interpretations in different occasions before. I would like to give you some highlights. Regarding 6 areas as followed. First, we establish green channels, make sure the anti-epidemic supply needs. A drug application as well as production or the transferred production lines regarding PPE. The enterprises in this regard are entitled to go through the green channels, make sure urgent cases could be dealt in an urgent way with specific methods. Regarding resumption of work and production, the administrative approval or the mandatory approval requirement should be followed, but for the enterprise that has difficulty to make all these approval, they can make the commitment first, and then you finish all this process later on. For the enterprises with low risk regarding food process, they can produce first, so which means you can operate first. with the development of COVID-19 outbreak. And the SAMR will conduct on-site oversight to make sure they meet the requirement. And regarding the 5 items or the categories of disinfections, we also shortened the approval time from 30 days to 1 day. In order to support the spring planting and planting, the approval of the chemical fertilizers also shortened their approval time from 10 days to 1 day. Regarding the expenditures, I believe this is a great support to the enterprises. We have already cut the costs, and on top of that, the SAMR as well as affiliated examining agencies also half the service costs to the enterprises. Regarding the testing fees in Hubei province will be waived. Anything in the green channel for approving the COVID-19 related supplies, products as well as drugs will all exempt from the additional service fees. Regarding the departments as well as the different kinds of the technical supporting authorities, we will leverage their strengths in terms of measuring and the equality check, make sure the enterprises can do a good job in quality control while focusing on detailed management on resumption of work and production. And if you may notice, we have already released the disinfection and also the raw materials used for the protective suits. So there are 9 categories in this regard. So the enterprises can follow all these to guide their work. Regarding the enterprises for overseas market, we will do a good job to harmonize the international market standards with the domestic market standards. For the individual business owners, right now we have around 83.53 million business owners. So this is a large group of people which providing 200 million jobs. Although they just a very small scope of economy, but they provide a larger amount of jobs opportunities. They also suffer a lot this time amid the epidemic. So the resumption of work and production for SMEs and all these individual owners hold the key for further economic development. Therefore, along with other departments, SAMR also released the measures in the taxation, fiscal, financial areas, as well as cutting the rents, deferring payment of social insurance, as well as housing provident fees. And for the individual owners, as long as they fulfill the requirements locally, they can proceed to normal operation, abide by laws and regulation without approval. And for the enterprises having difficulties in finding the space to operate their business, and will also help them to find a suitable venue. Regarding the fees related to the authentication or the approval will also help them to cut all these costs. And for the fiscal application, so normally the deadline for this item is around the end of June, and will also extend the time period to the end of this year. For SMEs, individual owners, always in our top focus. We will give them more support to help them to do a good job on the disease prevention and control, as well as orderly resumption of work and production. CMG CCTV. My question regarding the overall picture of environment, especially to the undergraduates as well as migrant workers, and what kind of matters we will see in this regard to further boost employment. Thank you very much. The COVID-19 outbreak indeed has brought some impact to employment. The enterprises suspended work and also delayed the resumption of work and production. The tertiary sector as well as MEs suffered more in this regard. So we also can see the enterprises has less needed in the employment. So the migrant workers as well as undergraduates face the difficulties in finding jobs. Regarding the numbers released by the National Statistic Bureau based on the unemployment rate in urban areas also seen a upward, and we also have seen a decrease in the employment in the first 2 months. So which means there did some impact to our economy. But looking at the global picture, right now this COVID-19 become a pandemic. So to the international economy as well as domestic economy also face a prominent challenges. In face of these challenges, the CPC Central Committee and State Council has swiftly released some matters in this regard in terms of the cutting fees and taxations, as well as from the market side, giving more supporting initiatives to stabilize employment as well as market expectations, as well as the orderly resumption of work and production to boost the employment and economic development. Enterprises also do their bit to maintain their payrolls or has less people out their payrolls. And we also have conducted 22 items in 6 big categories in order to support the employment. And we also have the documents released in this front regarding the employment to students, the undergraduates, as well as migrant workers. We have concrete measures in this regard. For migrant workers, we should focus on the resumption of work and production orderly and make sure they can go out to find job. And we'll also encourage them to find jobs near their hometowns, and we'll also give a priority to the impoverished migrant workers. For undergraduates, for the students going to be graduated this year, I believe they actually have a big difficulties to finishing their schools as well as finding jobs. So we will also give incentives or the subsidies in this regard. So for the state-owned enterprises should enlarge their headcounts available to the undergraduates as well as the employment paid by or the provided by the community level enterprises. So we will also extend the ready to work period for undergraduates. We believe we will have more favorable measures to support migrant workers as well as the undergraduates. In the next phase, in order to better implement the deployment made by the State Council, we will focusing more on the dedicated powers, improve regulation and update services, pursuing Internet Plus initiatives, and encouraging mass entrepreneurships and innovations. By all these, we would like to utilize the advantage of the cutting-edge technology to create the energy and potential of the mass population and to improve the business, improve the environment. And we will also summarize the good practice and that emerged in this time amid the epidemic, as well as the good practice before the epidemic. So as the Madame Sun introduced, the urgent case could be dealt in an urgent manner with specific measures, and we would also would to draw all these practice together and also make sure all these practice can abide by the laws and regulations and also the international norms, and make sure that we can better learn the needs of the market, facilitate the society to find jobs, and also create a favorable, stable, open, transparent, and a predictable environment for the market entities. Regarding mass entrepreneurships and innovations, we will also continue to do our job in a reformed, and also will give more support on the employment insurance as well as the government initiated incubators, and we will provide the space for the undergraduates and the migrant workers for doing their startups. And we will also to think different ways and opportunities for the employment. Regarding pursuing Internet Plus initiatives, we have a deeper understanding this time at how Internet and other advanced technology can help us. Going forward, we will intensify our efforts in the digital economy as well as the pilot zone, as well as better utilize the central budget and to boost development of the 5G, big data, cloud computing, AI, IoT, and other cutting-edge technology in a coordinated way to cultivate a group of the digital industry that can provide more jobs and also upgrade our traditional economy and enterprises, make sure the online economy as well as the shared economy can be a new driver. All in all, we right now facing a daunting task in the stabilizing employment, but the Chinese economy enjoys a large room of the resilience. The fundamental of a sound long-term economic development has not changed. We have all reasons, the conditions, and the confidence to boost the high-quality economic development. Thank you. Just now, Mr. Gao from NDRC introduced the key initiatives in the employment aspect in a full picture, and he also mentioned the newly released documents by different markets as well as the departments, and he also emphasized on improving business environment. State Administration for Market Regulation believes that enterprises are the key force to maintain market development. But we should give a good environment for our enterprises to grow stronger and larger. Only they can develop in this enriched environment can they provide more jobs. So therefore, it's very important for us to provide this enabling environment for our enterprises, so our enterprises can release a more potential and energy to boost the overall development of the market. That is why we focus on the improvement of the market environment, follow the market rules as well as the laws and the regulations and also the international norms. We have seen a good progress made in this regard so far. And going forward, we will maintain the progress we achieved and also make a further development. So regarding the access to the market, we would like to create a flexible condition to the enterprises. So right now, the approval for market access has taken less time. And regarding the reforms, we have also cut the license before that for the industrial products, and then 24 license, and right now it's only 10 items. And we will also strengthen our efforts in this regard. We believe the enterprises can unleash their potential and be more energetic because of the improvement of the efficiency of the authorities. The 125 million are the key enterprises. The 39.05 the enterprises, the 8.35 million the individual owners, the 2.19 million the cooperatives, the only solid foundation for economic development. And second, we also would like to provide a level playing field. The level playing field can provide a sustainable energy for our enterprises, the best ones to survive and win the market shares. And we also would like to provide this equal footing to all the enterprises. And we also work with different departments. And we have the 4 levels of the governmental departments involved in monitoring the equal competition in the market, make sure the legitimate rights and interests of enterprises are guaranteed. The most concerned issues regarding the economic fraud or the illegal marketing as well as the unjustified competition. Last year, 8,635 cases in the anti-unfair competition dealt with. $300,000 cases in total were dealt with a total amount of 13.7 billion RMB. and to protect the legitimate rights and interests of our customers, and also for the IRs. We also work hard in the intellectual property right monitorings. We talk about as long as the environment is favorable for the enterprises can grow and promise. So amid the epidemic this time, we also adopted the contactless or the online approval service. So right now we also have enlarged the scope of the online service approval access to a larger group of enterprises with low risk. And the anti-monopoly measures also taken online in order to improve the efficiency of our work. And we also have conducted the key measures under the dedicating power, improving regulation and services, and we have also conducted the random check and make sure that the enterprises can provide more services at one step. In the 2019, we have conducted our random check on 5% of the enterprises. Fourth, we also create the prudent monitoring environment. As Mr. Go said, that there were the new models of businesses emerged at this time amid the epidemic, which were meaningful to the stability of employment and growth. We also has formulated the guidelines regarding the pricing of online platform, car hauling platform, and we also practice Internet Plus. The supervision rules make sure the every needs or the feedback can be dealt with. And regarding the contactless delivery, shared employees, and other emerged new models of a business will also give more focus regarding supervision. And we will be more prudent and inclusive when conducting our work on the supervision, as well as the testing, the authentication, mirroring are all our strengths under SAMR, and we will give the needed support to the enterprises. We always pursuing a higher level requirement to our work. We are right now still in a critical situation, especially right now this COVID-19 is a pandemic. And while China is also facing a downward pressure on its economic development, SAMR followed the employment arrangement made by the State Council, and we will create a synergy with other departments to do our contribution to the social and economic development and maintain the effective measures in stabilizing employment and market. And we will also sum up good practice amid the epidemic and in order to build a long-term supervisory mechanism. Economic daily. My question goes to Mr. Gao. Amid the epidemic this time, we have seen a good progress in the integration of online-offline services, and the enterprises also focus more on this upgrading and facing some difficulties in this regard. So what kind of measures do you have? So I will invite Mr. Wu Hao from the technical department of NDRC to give you answers. Regarding the digital upgrading, is a big trend, will also be the main trend. A human society always make a progress and to create new lives, new technologies through different challenges. So the SARS actually produce the digital economy and also internet found a mature business model amid the SARS outbreak. The COVID-19 outbreak this time make us once again realize a big synergy brought by a cutting-edge technology. We talk about the telecommunication, the mobile payment, the 5G all play its role. We talk about the cloud business, we talk about the health code, as well as online education, are all right now the buzzword amid the epidemic. We believe in the coming future, the digital economy will be a key driver, and we will have seen more enterprises involved in speeding up their efforts in upgrading to the digital economy. Yes, indeed, as you mentioned, the SMEs especially are facing some difficulties in this regard. So they talk about that a dilemma faced by the SMEs, that no matter they upgrade or not, they all face a hard situation that cannot let them to enjoy a sustainable development. So we talk about it right now. The NDRC has also formulated the Internet Plus digital economic development guidelines, and we will focus on the result-oriented problem shooting method to help our SMEs and also other enterprises. We will build up a partnership, and we will also build the flagships as well as the services to help our enterprises to do a good upgrading job in this regard, and to lower the threshold for the enterprises. And we also encourage the enterprises to go cloud, which means we will also have the initiatives in the inclusive cloud service, and we will also let the big data to play its role in integration and inclusive development, and will also give a more support to the enterprises to use AI, as well as how that AI can help the real economy. And we also talk about the enterprises that feel afraid to upgrade. So we will also explore a new way, such as building a cluster of the virtual industrial park, and will also build a digital industrial chain to bring the upstream and the downstream enterprises together, and will create a shared platform in terms of the employees and resources in order to create the synergy among different enterprises, and also help the traditional enterprises to enjoy a new development environment. We believe all these initiatives and measures are conducive to the enterprises for further upgrading. China Review Agency, Hong Kong. We focus on that we should focus more on the promising sectors such as the aging service. What matters the NDRC have in this regard? For us, we are the consumers in the market. We believe we all have a shared feeling that we have a diverse needs, and we're more sophisticated regarding the aging service, the housekeeping service, as the village tourism, the home appliance recycling actually all release their potential. So in the service sector, some service require the face-to-face model and also restrained to certain a region that if you send your kids to the kindergarten, you just choose a local one, right? There's no much choices. As Mr. Wu mentioned, the digital economy as well as the internet has played more roles in our life in terms of the high quality life condition. So they provide more choices for us. So this is also the opportunity brought by the new era that also required our enterprises to also improve their capabilities, especially the integration of online and offline business. So we also have seen a new business as well as new models more emerged, and they all enjoyed a good development. For the undergraduates, a group of well-educated students, I believe they also can enjoy a vast room to do their startups. So this is a development trend which are in line with the needs of the mass market. NDRC right now also initiate our work in the housekeeping service, inclusive kindergarten or daycare services, as well as the aging services. Make sure we invest more in all these areas, and we also help to channel more capitals to these key sectors based on the arrangement based by the State Council executive meetings. And we also worked on let the mass entrepreneurship and innovation to provide more jobs. And we also talk about the key public service sectors such as housekeeping, aging services, home appliance, the recyclings. Make sure the traditional enterprises can get a chance to upgrade their models, and also let all these new forms of business to provide more jobs. For housekeeping sector, we give support to the platform providers, and they can utilize their internet strengths to help the SMEs, because for the housekeeping players, the majority of them are the SMEs. So we would like to provide a targeted service to all these SMEs to link the supply side and demand side in a bid to improve the service provided by the housekeeping sectors. Regarding the daycare, and we also work on to build the pediatric department in an intelligent manner, and they also help us to provide more the smart services. That we also talk about the inspiration actually from the healthy code. I believe this is the most the fastest development of the health sector. And regarding the aging sector, we will also install the smart monitoring appliance to this sector. Regarding the village tourism, the internet providers can integrate the B&B and the conventional venues together to also work with the villagers to create the new drivers. And we talk about the home appliance actually that updated so fast. We don't want to waste these home appliances because they still can work. But you talk about like to recycle all these home appliances. You couldn't find anyone to get them. So therefore, we also would like to give the support to the medium large size of the home appliance companies to conduct this work in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities and to help them to solve the issues regarding the logistic chains as well as the internet service provided to the home appliance recycling. And we have the market needs. I believe there are a vast opportunity waiting for us to tap into. Going forward, we will intensify our efforts on the policies to support the resumption of work and production, the upgrading of the business, and also the integration of online, offline service. I would also like to call on our friends from the media, help us to do more media coverage on the good practice, and also do more the propaganda or the storytelling, the key leading examples in this regard. So we'd like to see more people, they have their desire to create their own startups, can be more involved. Guangming Daily, SMEs, the key groups suffer the most amid the epidemic. And what do you think about what are your expectations and their further development, and what policy do you have in encouraging mass entrepreneurships and innovation? Thank you very much. I believe SMEs actually suffered a lot, and everyone concerned about the development and the challenges faced by the SMEs. The State Council has touched great importance on the development of SMEs. Since the outbreak of epidemic, a series of policies have introduced, and progress has been made in this regard. And the resumption of work and production has also shown a good momentum and in an upward trend. Based on our analysis, we should look at a general trajectory. The macro picture is the epidemic has brought some impact to our economy, but will not change a sound development for China. So the fundamental of the long-term economic development has not changed. So we had also conducted a survey on the 3,000 enterprises. 67.3% of the enterprises believe that they have a full confidence on a bright future. And 40% of the enterprises believe that they also have a vast opportunities and potentials in their own sectors. We also need to think about whether we have the solutions to deal with the difficulties, because there are more solutions than difficulties. As Mr. Gao and Madame Sun introduced, targeted measures are plenty in place but we should focus more on implementation of all these policies. Some regions they have a really good practice that one-stop services, and actually the first thing is the SMEs. It's really hard to have awareness of the policies in place, and they also quite hard to know how they can enjoy all these benefits provided by the policies. So that is why we emphasize a good executive measures or the implementation of all these policies. We talk about the SMEs, how to really guide all these encouraging or the incentives provided by the policies. The high quality development for SMEs should focus on how to better leverage the strengths provided by the domestic market. That is why we will focus on the supply side structural reform. The high quality supply side can lead the high quality needs and provide vast room for SMEs further development. That side, we have also noticed the shortage or the weakness that's explored or exposed this time because of the epidemic. And we also work on how to let the larger size enterprises to share their resources, especially supply chain and industrial chain, with the SMEs. And third, as Mr. Gao mentioned, about the development of new models of businesses. We talk about mass entrepreneurship and innovation should have the energy provided by the new models of business as well as new technologies. That is why we emphasize a lot on cloud. And we talk about the employment of the graduates as well as migrant workers. We focus on the 2020 week of mass entrepreneurship and innovation. We focus more on the startups made by graduates and migrant workers. So we would like to link all these startup owners with the platform providers as well as the internet companies. And we also focus on the establishment of the pilot zones. So far, we have around 120 zones in this regard playing a key role. Going forward, we will deepen our reform to unleash the potential and energy of the market players, and will also give the sustainable support to SMEs. And we will also study and formulate the mechanism to link the SMEs with the financial sectors, the bank sectors, to get more capitals. We believe all these policies and measures in place will have full confidence to support the boom of SMEs. Last two questions. CMG. The enterprises hit by the COVID-19 face some difficulties in the resumption of production and work. So how market can play its role to mitigate the impact, and what's your consideration from SAMR side? This is a very good question, but covering a large scope of business. We believe that the work always on the way because it's covered end-to-end the market development cycle. But we talk about that we should align the market entities to plays key role, and we should focus on this mechanical arrangement. The guidance or the help provided by the government are important, and we have more room to improve. Enterprises, as I mentioned, are the main force in the market, as well as leading the work regarding back to work and production. During the Spring Festival, especially this year, the critical period of COVID-19 pandemic, anti-epidemic supplies and daily necessities regarding masks for the mass population had a explosive growth, and there are some panic buying in certain areas. As I mentioned, the illegal companies had bid up a price of the anti-epidemic supplies, and we also have seen the substandard products found either online or in shops. As you mentioned, the enterprises did suffer from the epidemic, especially in their supply chain, logistic chain, as well as industrial chain. Some enterprises also were in the stage of suspending production. So there were prominent issues in how to better deal with the market needs. So with the arduous efforts and joint efforts made by the related departments and the companies, the anti-epidemic supplies and daily necessities were well guaranteed. We have done some survey and heard the feedback and suggestions given by the enterprises, especially regarding the subject of the resumption of work and production. As the MR would like to better play its function and role, and we had taken some actions, as I mentioned, to guarantee a stable supply and price of anti-epidemic resources and daily necessities, and to mitigate the panic feeling of the consumers. From January 29th, we had initiated the campaign of 3 guarantees regarding price, supply, and quality. The enterprises involved gave a really good feedback. Over 50 days, 15,000 more enterprises have involved in this campaign regarding the enterprises from top 500 and top 30 retailers, as well as top 40 players in food sector. And we also have seen more than 300,000 chain store operations involved with their coverage in urban areas and rural areas. And also we have seen the presence of SMEs and individual owners. So we talk about the players actually from the food sector, the processing sector, the supermarket, shopping malls, large scale of the online e-commerce, and we can see all big names have been involved in a campaign. And we talk about the courier boys and the food delivery service people work really hard every day, and we our work to make sure that all the industrial chain, supply chain, logistic chain were all in our consideration, which also provide a sound market foundation to meet people's need for the daily necessities, which also in turn to stabilize market expectation and employment. So I'm talking all these is want to say that the government actually first build up the whole platform and invite the players to all do their business on this platform to create a synergy. And they also play the several roles in the following. First, we talk about the synergy created to overcome the difficulties. Amid the difficult time, the entrepreneurs, hand in hand, to pay their contribution. They overcame difficulties, as Mr. Gao and Mr. Wu mentioned. Amid the pandemic, there were some impeded issues happened in supply chain, logistic chain, as well as industrial chain, but they still made their commitment, shoulder the social responsibilities, and conveyed their love, care, confidence to the whole society that they will deliver their promise while overcoming the difficulties brought by pandemic. The flagship companies involved with large coverage of stores in China thought about how to deliver the daily necessities to the door front or the door of the community for the consumers. And we talk about actually we have seen the food delivery, daily necessary delivery. So they worked with other parties, and especially the playing the role of the big data, other cutting edge technologies to conduct a contactless delivery service. So during this process, their revenue had not impact a lot, and actually we also have seen the sales, so growth, have seen a good growth against the headwind. Amid the pandemic, some companies produced the low quality products and took advantages of selling all these products. And by utilizing the information technology, we have overseen more than 100 companies, and also give a big blow to the illegal behaviors. The e-commerce platforms had made their countermeasures in this regard, and also the shopping malls and the e-commerce also have the targeted measures, make sure their shelf never empty. So they had a quite good replenishment system in place. So that is why you have seen less panic purchasing happened later on. Regarding the supermarket providing daily necessities, they operate normally. The food and the other supplies enjoyed a good quality and stable pricing. We believe all these play the key role to safeguard a well-orderly, safe environment amid the pandemic. The enterprises involved in the A3 Guarantee campaign also worked with the upstream and downstream enterprises and also link the anti-epidemic products along the whole production line to match up the materials needed for production. And we talk about a flexible employment model this time, that we actually encourage the people to go to work nearby their living places. And this time, that helped us to deal with more than 4 million people in terms of the food delivery sector. So we have this, what we call the employee sharing business model. So as of mid-March, for the enterprises in the campaign, 70% of them actually back to work. A supermarket is 100% back to work. So this is a very good practice as well as campaign, which help to link the government departments as well as the enterprises and the market. So this is a very good communication channel. So the government have the opportunity to listen and learn the needs of the market and the enterprises, and also to help the enterprises to solve the issues. And regarding the price, we not practice the one-size-for-all matters. And we also have the policies to support the enterprises, and also release the commitment made by the enterprises in our campaign, make sure the enterprises shouldered the responsibilities and walk the talk. All in all, we have upgraded and fresh our way of the monitoring market and give a full play to the main entities of the market. Going forward, we will sum up the good practice and roll out all these good practice, make sure that we will do a good job in epidemic prevention and control, and resumption of work and production, and good support to encouraging mass entrepreneurships and innovation. Thank you. China News Agency. From the central government to local governments, there are numbers of policies released and in place to support enterprises, but some enterprises said that the whole process or the policies involved in many approval works and very complicated to deal with. So what's your take? Since the outbreak of the pandemic, in a bid to mitigate the impact caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, many preferential policies were introduced to support enterprises. We also learned and also have seen the media coverage that the enterprises, especially SMEs side, is very complicated to enjoy the benefit provided by DA policies because it involved so many procedures. And first is related to DA systems. Some DA policies actually released in a very urgent manner, so it's not really taken a full consideration. And we talk about if the enterprises would like to know more about the policies or they apply for DA policies or more than the 100 million. So, which means actually we need to deal with a really tremendous number of the enterprises. So we couldn't deal with this large number of enterprises. So that also caused some delay in our work. Under this circumstance, we sent the liaison person to different provinces and enterprises to learn the actual situation in terms of resumption of work on the production as well as the implementation of policies in order to better coordinate or help the enterprises to solve the issues they are facing. A press conference held by the State Council, the Interagency Task Force, as well as the Local Information Office. We found that right now we have improved our work in a more detailed and practiced way. More enterprises right now can enjoy the benefits provided by policies. Let me give you an example. Some measures and policies are released in terms of getting access of the water, gas, electricity, and also we talk about we will not cut the supply of all these utilities, even if the enterprises had difficulties to pay the utility bills. But actually for these policies, it didn't mention about whether they need to charge the overdue fine. So that's actually impact the implementing about the policies. So that is why we also have additional policies regarding that no fines should be charged regarding the delaying payment of utility bills. So we actually solving the issues while implementing them. So this is really a problem-driven working method. So we would like to work harder in this regard with relevant players. With the overall development, as well as the difficulties or the issues found during the implementation of policies, we will continue to improve the policies and adjust the policies to provide more policies and also let these policies to help our enterprises. Due to the interest of time, I only would like to emphasize 3 highlights. And also that's the room for us to work on going forward. First, regarding the resumption of work and production, a procedures approval process involved should be dealt with, especially the unnecessary ones. And we will also clarify the material needed for approval, as well as the related role and responsibility of each department to make sure there's no overlaps. And also, we will forbid the additional process that the wantonly added by the certain departments under the name of epidemic prevention and control. And second, regarding the key issues in people's key concern, as well as enterprises' key concerns, we will focus more on this regard to streamline the process and shorten the process time period, and also will also roll out a good practice in other provinces. and also would like to focus more on how DA cutting edge technologies, especially the WeChat or the online platform, can play a better role, and we'll also focus on the policies that should be very easily to understand and easily to follow for the enterprises. And third, we should focus on the mitigate the burden on the enterprises, and will also deal with the unnecessary or irreasonable fees and policies on the enterprises. And we also right now working on, and we will continue to work on the fees charged on the enterprises, especially the guarantee fees, without reasonable names. We talk about that we should work on the employees or the raw materials, the logistics, the capitals. All these factors should be well guaranteed for the orderly resumption of work and production, so the enterprise can provide more jobs. Thank you. That does for today's press conference.